Seoul is a city of gentle contradictions, where centuries-old palaces whisper beside shimmering towers of glass, and traditions breathe quietly beneath the surface of a modern rhythm. Beneath the glow of neon signs and the hum of subway trains, there are still wooden gates that creak open to reveal tranquil courtyards, lined with clay-tiled roofs and warmed by the scent of pine. As the Han River winds its wide and patient way through the heart of the city, the skyline rises like a symphony of the old and new, played at just the right volume to invite you in rather than dazzle from afar. By day, Seoul pulses with energy, a kinetic mosaic of markets, cafes, parks, and people. But as evening falls, the city softens. Soft lights reflect off the river. Music spills gently from cozy basement jazz clubs, and the aroma of sesame oil, garlic, and sizzling meats drifts through narrow alleyways. There are moments here that feel curated for peace. Quiet strolls along the old fortress walls, tea served in a hanok under flickering candlelight, or the warmth of heated floors beneath your feet in a quiet hotel suite, high above the city's hum. This is the story of Seoul told not in haste, but in calm reflection. Each chapter will guide you through a piece of this city's vast and varied soul, from ancient temples to bustling shopping streets, hidden gardens, to lively neighborhoods filled with youthful song and dance. So settle in, breathe deeply, and let yourself drift slowly into the gentle embrace of Korea's vibrant, soulful capital. Welcome to Bedtime Travel Stories, where soothing tales and gentle narrations take you on a tranquil journey through the world's most enchanting places, right from the comfort of your bed. Unwind and travel with us as we explore the globe one story at a time, helping you relax and drift into a peaceful sleep. At the very heart of Seoul, where the mountains brush the sky and traffic flows steadily just beyond ancient walls, Gyeongbokgung Palace greets the morning in hushed reverence. The palace grounds, with their stone courtyards and stately red and green pavilions, are still. A faint breeze passes through the pines, rustling leaves with the softest suggestion of sound. In this moment, it is not the 21st century. It is the Joseon dynasty. Time folds neatly into itself. Stone paths curve between reflecting pools and rows of intricately painted columns. A lone heron glides across the surface of Hyeongwonjeong Pond, as if tracing the past in ripples. Visitors speak in quiet tones, if at all, stepping carefully along the wooden bridges that connect one pavilion to the next. The scent of morning dew still clings to the earth, and the palace, magnificent and unhurried, seems to breathe. Nearby, the streets of Bukchon Hanok village begin to stir. Tucked into the hillside above the palace, this neighborhood of preserved traditional homes awakens slowly. The roofs curve like waves frozen mid-motion, their shadows stretching long as the sun rises. A hanbok rental shop opens its doors, and the gentle rustle of silken fabric signals the beginning of a day for visitors wishing to step briefly into another time. There is a rhythm to it all, modern life softened by history. The transition from ancient to present day is as seamless as it is soothing. One street down, a cafe nestled inside a renovated hanok begins brewing pour-over coffee, its warm aroma floating into the air. A couple sits cross-legged at a low wooden table, sipping slowly as soft music hums in the background. The hanok's wooden beams creak slightly with the movement of the morning, and the floor's heated stones keep the space warm, even as the outside air still holds a hint of chill. From this serene setting, one might stroll into the nearby alleys of Samcheongdong, lined with artisan boutiques, delicate pottery shops and galleries tucked behind sliding doors. The district carries the quiet energy of creative minds. A potter shapes clay behind a wide window, his motions unbroken by the passing crowd. Above the rooftops, Namsan Tower peeks through the light haze, a silent observer to all things Seoul. For those ready to linger a little longer, accommodations in this part of the city reflect the tone perfectly. Boutique hotels built inside restored hanoks offer a stay that feels less like tourism and more like time travel. A place like Rakuje, with its centuries-old courtyard and heated floors, allows guests to rest not just from travel but from time itself. With herbal teas, hushed gardens, and bedding laid out on polished floors, rest becomes ritual. It is in moments like these, in quiet corners tucked beside history, that the true spirit of Seoul begins to emerge. It is not only in the grandeur of the palace or the precision of the past, but in the gentleness of a morning shared with quiet steps and the warmth of steamed rice and soup served before the city fully wakes. This perhaps is why the city is often called the land of morning calm. Not because it is always calm, but because it chooses calm at the beginning of each day, offering it to those willing to slow down and receive it. As the morning matures, footsteps naturally find their way toward Insadong, a neighborhood where time does not rush but instead drips like honey from a wooden spoon. The streets are narrow and stone-paved, gently curving between tea houses, calligraphy shops, and hidden galleries. Here Seoul's artistic heart beats softly, wrapped in the gentle clink of porcelain cups and the scent of roasted barley tea. Though modern shops have appeared, they bow to the tone of the street, their signs written in Hangul and their colors respectfully muted. Everything feels curated to comfort the senses. It is a place to linger, not to rush. The rhythmic crack of an artisan's brush against handmade paper, the patient chiseling of a stamp maker carving names into jade, each sound punctuates the quiet like a whisper rather than a shout. A street vendor stirs a bubbling pot of tteokbokki, and the spicy aroma mingles with the sweetness of hotteok being pressed flat on a hot griddle. The food in Insadong is not fast, but slow and warm, inviting each passerby to savor both taste and place. Tucked into a quiet courtyard just behind the main street, a traditional tea house awaits like a well-kept secret. Its wooden doors creak softly open, revealing low tables, delicate ceramic cups, and walls lined with shelves of dried herbs. Inside, a woman in a linen apron prepares a tray with wild persimmon tea and pine nut porridge, her movements precise and unhurried. The scent of jujube drifts into the room like a lullaby. Each sip tastes like something remembered, not merely consumed. Just beyond, a restaurant with sliding paper doors offers a more substantial kind of comfort. Samgyetang, a delicate ginseng chicken soup served in hot stone bowls, arrives steaming and fragrant. The rice inside the chicken is soft, the broth deep and nourishing. Conversation slows here, not from formality but from reverence. Even locals who pass by daily speak in hushed tones when seated. Every meal is an act of pause. Around the corner, the artistic spirit of Seoul continues at Samgyecheon, a spiraling cultural complex filled with handmade crafts, textiles, and artwork. Yet even here, amid its curious geometry and ascending paths, peace remains. Musicians strum soft melodies on traditional Gyeongbokgung instruments, their strings resonating in the air like sunlight on silk. It is not unusual to see a family quietly admiring a wall of hand-painted fans, or watching a potter shape the curve of a vase with fingers that have known clay for a lifetime. By the time twilight begins to touch the rooftops, the street is bathed in gold. Lanterns flicker into life, and the soft murmur of strolling couples and friends takes on the hushed quality of a shared secret. In a small shop at the end of the street, rice cakes wrapped in lotus leaves are gently packed into boxes with thin silk ribbon, a gesture of care that seems to echo the mood of the neighborhood itself. Those seeking rest nearby find tranquility in hanoks-style inns that line the edges of Insadong's winding lanes. One such place, Bongeunsa 1957, invites guests into a world of soft lighting, traditional wooden lattice work, and courtyard gardens lit by paper lanterns. Some rooms have no beds, only plush mats atop heated floors, allowing the body to return to the ground, to simplicity, to stillness. It is in places like this, amid the scent of warm broth, candlelit teas, and brushstrokes guided by tradition, that Seoul reveals its quieter voice, a voice that doesn't call out, but calls in. Beneath the busy streets of central Seoul, where office towers stretch toward the clouds and the city hums with the rhythm of daily life, there lies a quiet ribbon of calm. Cheonggyecheon stream, once hidden beneath concrete and forgotten, now flows openly once again, inviting footsteps to slow and thoughts to wander. As the sun rises higher, its gentle reflection dances on the water, dappling stone bridges and the legs of herons standing still as sculptures. The air is fresher here, carrying the faint scent of pine and damp stone. Pedestrians descend by shallow steps to walk beside the stream, the sound of traffic muffled above by the canopy of trees and the flowing current. Couples stroll hand in hand. Office workers pause on lunch breaks, and elders move slowly with folded hands and quiet smiles. The walls are adorned with artwork, stone carvings, tiled murals, and colorful lanterns that gently sway in the breeze. Despite being in the heart of the city, the space feels like a hidden garden. Along the path, Footbridges arc low across the water, their worn stones reflecting countless footsteps taken with care. On some days, buskers play soft jazz or traditional Korean ballads near the wider plazas, their melodies echoing gently under the bridges. There's something comforting about the steady pace of the water, the predictable curve of the path, the way birds and people alike treat this place with reverence. From one end to the other, Cheonggyecheon stretches nearly 11 kilometers, winding past historic markers, art installations, and quiet moments of reflection. Each turn reveals something different: a waterfall tumbling down textured granite, a small pool filled with koi, or simply the flutter of ginkgo leaves spiraling to the ground like golden snow. A sense of intention lives here. The stream doesn't rush, it welcomes. As the day warms, visitors stop to dip their fingers into the cool water or sit along the stone edges with their shoes off, letting the city pass them by. Children giggle as they leap across stepping stones shaped like turtles, while an older woman sits beneath a willow tree, sipping barley tea from a stainless steel flask. There is a timelessness here, where memories feel shared across generations. Not far from the stream's path, luxury hotels such as the Lotte Hotel Seoul offer views that gaze down upon this green thread through the city. From a high balcony or quiet room, guests can watch the light change along the stream throughout the day, from misty morning shimmer to the twinkle of evening lanterns. The contrast between the calm below and the glass towers above is never jarring, only poetic. As afternoon fades, the stream begins to glow with the light of hundreds of tiny lanterns. Reflections shimmer on the surface, and the city's edge seems to dissolve. K-pop melodies, faint, not boisterous, filter in from nearby cafes, adding rhythm to the night without disrupting the peace. Even here, where the modern is unavoidable, Seoul remains deeply aware of how to carry its past into its present. The stream, like the city, never really sleeps, but it knows how to rest. As dusk tiptoes over the rooftops, the neighborhood of Hongdae stirs with a different kind of energy. Playful, creative, and distinctly youthful. This is where the city lets its hair down, where art spills onto the pavement and music dances from open windows. Yet even here, in a place often defined by its vibrance, there are soft spaces between the pulses. Small cafes lit with paper lanterns, alley murals faded like watercolor, and courtyards that invite you to stay a while. Hongdae moves with rhythm, but it never rushes you along. The heart of Hongdae beats in the space between performance and intimacy. Street musicians strum quietly beside murals painted in pastel tones. A dancer practices slow, controlled movements under the faint light of a storefront awning, her sneakers squeaking softly on the brick path. Groups of friends gather on low steps, sipping iced drinks from mason jars, while sketch artists offer portraits in gentle strokes, more impression than replica. The air smells of roasted sweet potatoes, black sugar, and the faint smoke of incense burning in a quiet gallery nook. Despite its reputation for nightlife, Hongdae offers moments that ask you to linger rather than leap. In a small vinyl bar tucked beneath a bakery, jazz and lo-fi beats hum beneath the clink of cups. The decor is soft. Mid-century lamps, worn leather chairs, walls lined with books and records. A couple whispers over a shared plate of kimchi pancakes and honey makgeolli. Just outside, the chatter of the street continues, but it fades to a murmur here. A space like this feels less like escape and more like invitation. Across the neighborhood, independent boutiques sell handcrafted jewelry, hand-dyed fabrics, and art created by local students. Every corner reveals a new detail. A staircase lined with pressed flower frames, a rooftop garden growing basil and cosmos, a coffee stand that writes a poem with each drink order. It's a place of discovery, of small joys, and the smiles you see on the streets aren't posed. They're relaxed, unworried. People are allowed to simply be. A few blocks from the bustle, hotels like Rise offer sanctuary with an edge. The rooms feel like lofts, filled with creative energy, local art, and views that stretch across the city. Downstairs, the lobby is alive with color and texture, but the guest rooms are calm, neutral linens, soft lighting, and soundproofed windows that hush the hum outside. Even in a district of motion, Seoul knows when to fold itself into quiet. As night deepens, a soft beat rises from a tiny club with no name, drawing in passers-by not with noise but with intrigue. Inside, the room glows violet and gold, and dancers sway in unison to rhythms that feel like heartbeat and breath. No lyrics needed, just a pulse, a presence. K-pop influences are everywhere, not shouted but shared, with nods to choreography and fashion in every expressive movement. The global phenomenon is born here, not in arenas, but in backstreets and rehearsal studios, lit by single bulbs and overflowing with hope. At a nearby bench beneath a string of bulbs, someone hums softly into the night. There are no stars above, but the light here feels just as gentle. And in the blend of music, art, friendship, and stillness, Seoul offers another version of itself. Not ancient, not towering, but breathing, creating, dreaming. Just north of the royal palaces, nestled at the base of Bukhansan's gently rising slopes, lies Samcheongdong, a neighborhood that wears its quiet dignity like a silk scarf. The streets curve like brushstrokes on parchment, bordered by old stone walls, art galleries, and the subdued elegance of hanok architecture. Here time moves as if it were written in ink, not numbers. The scent of pine from the nearby forest drifts between buildings, mixing with the sweet tang of citrus tea poured fresh into clay cups. This is Seoul with its voice lowered, its colors softened. Walking through Samcheongdong is like wandering through a curated garden of calm and culture. Small museums and design studios line the path, each offering a space for reflection. One features celadon pottery so delicate it seems carved from jade mist, while another holds a quiet room where soft string music plays beside abstract ink scrolls. No one rushes here, though even the shopkeepers speak slowly, gesturing with open hands and warm eyes. Halfway up the hill, A narrow alley leads to a cafe barely visible from the road. Inside, tall windows frame the forest beyond, and low wooden tables are arranged beside thick floor cushions. A single calligraphy scroll hangs on the wall, its black strokes simple and sure. The barista, moving with the grace of a dancer, grinds beans by hand and pours each cup in silent ceremony. Outside, wind stirs the branches, and a few golden leaves drift past the glass like lazy memories. Food here matches the tone, thoughtful, clean, nourishing. At a small restaurant run by a mother and daughter team, bowls of doenjang jjigae steam gently beside dishes of fermented vegetables, soft tofu, and mountain greens. Each bite feels earned, not because it is complex, but because it is prepared with intention. Guests speak in low tones, as if not to disturb the stillness in the broth. For visitors who wish to linger, Samcheongdong offers some of Seoul's most serene accommodations. Ryokan-style guest houses with stone paths and maple trees in the courtyard provide a sense of withdrawal, not from the world, but from noise. In these places, windows open to the sound of birds, and nights are lit by starlight and the soft glow of paper lamps. No elevators, no buzzers, just footsteps on wood and doors that slide quietly open. Even the art in this neighborhood is quiet. Murals speak in pastels. Sculptures are placed in gardens instead of pedestals. One finds poetry tucked inside cafe menus and handwritten thoughts pinned gently to cork boards. Reflections, not slogans. The soul of the place feels curated by kindness, as if designed by someone who understands the value of silence. Looking uphill, the ridgeline of Bukhansan rises in the distance, steady and still, like a great exhale. Hikers descend with smiles and sunburned cheeks, their boots tapping lightly on the stone paths as they return to the city's edge. But Samcheongdong never feels like an edge. It feels like a breath between verses, the space between notes in a song. And as dusk begins to settle into its corners, the neighborhood glows not with neon, but with warmth, a kind of light that doesn't blind, but embraces. As morning gives way to midday, the city pulses with renewed life, and nowhere is this heartbeat more palpable than Namdaemun Market. This vast maze of stalls and narrow alleys has been the soul of Seoul's commerce for centuries. Beneath bright awnings and weathered wooden signs, voices rise in harmony. A chorus of greetings, questions, and laughter echoing from one vendor to another. The scent of sesame oil, grilled fish, and sweet rice flour fills the air like incense from a shrine devoted to flavor. Every step feels like stepping into a story still unfolding. Here, time is elastic. One stall offers modern phone accessories, while another sells embroidered hanbok in luminous silks. Grandmothers barter for dried anchovies beside students sipping iced coffee. There's a rhythm to it. People weaving through narrow lanes, ducking beneath hanging lanterns, stopping suddenly when something glitters or sizzles, or simply calls to their memory. You can lose track of the hour, and yet feel entirely rooted in place. Near Gate 2, A food alley invites hungry wanderers to sit on low plastic stools as steam rises from bubbling pots. Vendors call out in rhythmic cadence, offering sundae, odeng, and golden paejeon, stacked like savory pancakes. A young boy bites into his first mandu with eyes wide in delight, while his grandfather chuckles softly, patting his back. Here meals are shared with strangers, elbows nearly touching, and still it feels like home. As the midday light filters through thin tarps and open rooftops, the market becomes a canvas of color. Red chili pastes glow beside green perilla leaves and bright yellow radish. Fabrics wave gently from the upper stalls, catching the breeze like sails. The voices shift from fast to friendly, from business to banter and back again. You realize the market is not just a place of exchange, but of memory. Each item sold holds someone's story. For those seeking a reprieve, the surrounding streets offer quiet cafes tucked behind display racks and spice counters. One in particular, above a tailor's shop, serves misugaru lattes with toasted rice biscuits and soft acoustic music playing through vintage speakers. From its window, the entire market unfurls like a living tapestry. The chaos below is softened by distance, but its energy remains, pulsing like the city's heartbeat beneath your feet. Nearby, the elegant Four Points by Sheraton Namsan offers a seamless retreat. Its rooms, cool and crisp, provide panoramic views of the bustling streets and rooftops of Seoul. The contrast between the polished comfort inside and the textured life outside feels harmonious. You might find yourself enjoying a hot cup of ginseng tea by the window, watching the market lights flicker into the dusk. As the day leans toward evening, the market's energy shifts again. The stalls light up with bulbs hung low on wires, casting golden halos over silks, street food, and shining trinkets. Musicians gather near the side streets, strumming ballads as vendors pack their wares and families finish their last purchases. There is no announcement, no final bell, only a gentle easing into night like a lullaby at the end of a long day. Namdaemun is more than commerce. It is a place of passage where the daily and the sacred walk side by side. A scarf, a snack, a smile, they all carry weight here. And long after you leave, the scents and sounds remain, nestled in memory like the folds of a favorite coat. As the afternoon light lengthens, casting long golden ribbons across the ground, Seoul reveals another rhythm, one of open skies, cool breezes, and wide green spaces that invite the soul to exhale. Just beyond the more historic and artistic corners of the city, the Han River stretches lazily through the metropolis, flanked by parks that breathe peace into the pulse of urban life. And nestled farther to the west, Songdo Park offers a different perspective altogether: clean lines, soft geometry, and the sense of a city dreaming of tomorrow. Along the Han River, cyclists glide silently down manicured paths lined with reeds and willow trees. Friends gather under canvas umbrellas with picnic mats spread wide, sharing spicy fried chicken and iced plum juice beneath portable fans. The river itself sparkles like a ribbon of silk, crossed by graceful bridges and dotted with paddlers in colorful kayaks. The hum of Seoul lingers just beyond the trees, softened by distance and the rustle of wind in the tall grasses. Nearby Banpo-Hangang Park offers an unexpected delight. As the sun begins to lower behind the skyline, the Banpo Rainbow Fountain comes to life, arcing mist into the golden air in choreographed streams of water and light. Children laugh and chase the droplets, while couples lean against the railings, their silhouettes glowing softly against the last light. K-pop melodies drift gently from someone's speaker, never overpowering, just enough to mark the moment in memory. Not far from the riverside paths, the Vista Walker Hill Seoul stands quietly on a wooded slope, overlooking the water from above. Its modern design mirrors the calm of its surroundings: glass walls, minimalist furnishings, and spa treatments scented with pine and yuzu. From its balconies, one can watch the city flicker to life, a constellation of lights tracing the river's curves. It feels not removed but elevated, like the city's sigh at the end of a long day. Farther afield, Songdo Park feels like the future imagined gently. Although technically a part of Incheon, its blend of green and glass feels very much in conversation with Seoul's spirit. In the park, wooden walkways cross over quiet ponds, and pine trees sway gently beside the smooth facades of mirrored buildings. Bicycles whisper down quiet lanes, and a sculpture of a crane spreads wide its metal wings, catching the last of the day's light. Benches under flowering trees invite stillness. A young couple sits side by side, sketching in silence. A family unfolds containers of rice balls and pickled radish, their quiet conversation blending into the rustling trees and the murmur of passing breeze. Here, the city doesn't disappear, it just pauses. As evening descends, the Han River becomes a ribbon of light, its banks dotted with gentle lanterns and the laughter of people sharing space, food, and silence. Above them, high-rises sparkle, planes sweep low over the horizon, and the moon begins its slow climb above Namsan Tower. The city is vast, yes, but it is also soft, reflective, and patient. And in this long breath between dusk and dark, Seoul doesn't shout or sing. It listens and invites you to do the same. Even in a city of nearly 10 million, Seoul knows how to keep quiet spaces close to its center. In the district of Gangnam, famous for sleek towers, glossy malls, and neon-lit nights, an unexpected stillness rests among the high-rises. Bongeunsa Temple, cradled gently at the foot of glass and steel, offers not just contrast but balance. The scent of incense swirls in the air as prayer flags ripple between ginkgo trees, and time once again slows to a reverent hush. Stone steps rise through the temple grounds, flanked by lanterns in every color of the spectrum. The silence is full here, not empty, a silence of breath and bells, of gentle sweeping, of whispered chants that echo softly across the courtyards. Visitors pad quietly between halls, their shoes left behind at the thresholds. A towering white statue of the Buddha gazes calmly toward the east, as if watching over both the temple and the city it faces. Inside the temple walls, monks tend to their gardens and daily rituals with a steady rhythm. Green tea is poured into wide porcelain cups, and small bowls of rice and seaweed are placed beside candles, flickering in alcoves. A sense of refuge pulses through every wooden beam. Despite the modern skyline beyond, or perhaps because of it, the temple feels timeless, held in place by presence alone. Just beyond the gates, the world shifts. The COEX Mall rises in polished splendor, its mirrored surfaces catching the sky and the movement of the people below. Escalators hum gently, fountains bubble beside cafes, and shoppers drift through a symphony of light and sound. And yet even here, Seoul knows how to make space for calm. Tucked inside the COEX complex is the Starfield Library, a cathedral of books under a glass ceiling. Towering shelves curve upward in golden arcs, lit by warm spotlights and dotted with quiet readers curled into corners. There is no rush here, only the turning of pages, the soft tap of keyboards, and the deep comfort of stories waiting to be discovered. Even in a retail maze, Seoul preserves space for the soul. From the higher floors of the nearby Intercontinental Seoul COEX, the view expands into the endless mosaic of rooftops, treetops, highways, and mountains. Floor-to-ceiling windows reveal the flicker of distant lights and the calm curve of the Han River. Inside, a plush chair and a cup of ginseng tea offer the perfect place to sit and watch the city exhale into night. As the temple bells ring out one final time before dusk, a gentle hush falls over the area. Office towers reflect the fading orange of the sky, and temple lanterns begin to glow softly in rows. Somewhere nearby, soft music plays, a slow instrumental echo of the busy day behind. Seoul, with all its layers, lets each part breathe. And here, where silence lives next to symphony, peace and progress bow to one another. While Seoul holds worlds within its borders, there is something soothing about stepping beyond its edges, into forests that breathe with pine and mist, into coastal towns that smell of salt and stone, into heritage villages where time folds quietly back on itself. Day trips from the city offer more than a change of scenery. They offer space, reflection, and the comforting feeling of return just beyond the horizon. Just an hour north, the DMZ draws curious visitors with its charged quietude, but beyond the history and tension lies a landscape of rare stillness. At the Dora Observatory, visitors peer through mounted binoculars across green hills and quiet farmlands, while birdsong fills the silence with something more hopeful than solemn. The wind here carries the scent of grass and earth, untouched, untroubled. It's a place where stillness holds more meaning than sound. In the opposite direction, Nami Island invites wanderers into a soft dream of tree-lined paths and artful solitude. Tall meta-sequoia trees stretch skyward in perfect rows, their shadows painting rhythmic lines on the pebbled walkways. Couples pedal tandem bikes through fluttering leaves, and the distant chime of a musician's wind bells floats above the Han River. Cafes serve chestnut lattes in ceramic cups, and tiny galleries display whimsical sculptures hidden among gardens. It is a place made for slow breaths and unhurried footsteps. Farther east, the mountain temple of Woljeongsa in Odaesan National Park offers a gentle escape into spiritual calm. The forested trail to the temple is lined with fir trees and flanked by a murmuring stream. Monks in grey robes walk silently past, their presence as grounded as the moss-covered stones underfoot. Visitors may join a brief tea ceremony or simply sit in the temple courtyard, where silence feels not empty but whole. Southward, the coastal town of Incheon offers another type of peace, the kind found in wind, tide, and old harbors. Its Chinatown district bursts with vivid color and scent, while nearby Songdo Central Park provides a contrasting calm with its smooth canals and elegant bridges. A quiet boat ride beneath the city skyline offers reflection, both literal and figurative. Even here in a modern port city, the rhythm remains gentle. Those who return from these trips often find their way to hotels built to cushion such transitions. The JW Marriott Hotel Seoul, with its forest views and spa steeped in Korean herbs, offers rest as a welcome, not an end. Within its hushed halls, warm wooden tones and rainfall showers greet weary bodies with quiet celebration. It's the kind of place where your shoes come off without thinking, and your breathing naturally slows. Even within Seoul's reach, these outer places, half wild, half curated, whisper reminders that rest is not withdrawal. It is a gathering of self, a reminder of what matters. And whether it's in the hush of a temple, the crunch of gravel beneath wheels on Nami Island, or the quiet rocking of a boat on a canal, these day trips aren't departures. They're gentle pauses, soft spaces in the middle of movement. As night settles fully over Seoul, the city does not dim, it simply softens. The lights of towers reflect gently on riverbanks, lanterns flicker in temple courtyards, and jazz drifts from a second-floor window above a quiet cafe. Across its many neighborhoods, historic and modern, lively and hushed, the city hums like a lullaby. Not insistent, not loud, but steady, soothing and full of life that continues even as eyelids grow heavy. From hanoks in Samcheongdong to sky-high suites in Gangnam, the people of this city rest beneath the same stars. Trains sleep in their tunnels, markets close their shutters, and the scent of roasted barley and warm stone lingers in the alleys. Somewhere a final echo of song fades from a practice room, and across the Han River, another paper lantern drifts skyward, weightless and glowing. There is peace in knowing that the city will be here tomorrow, layered, generous, and ready to welcome all who walk slowly enough to feel its heartbeat. Seoul is not a city you conquer. It is a city you surrender to. In its quiet corners, its melodic streets, and its temples tucked between towers, it invites you to stop, to sit, to sip something warm, and listen to the breath of a place that remembers everything and rushes nothing. And in that stillness, under its calm and glowing sky, you may finally fall asleep. We hope you enjoyed today's serene journey and found peace in our gentle narration. Do join us next time as we make a relaxing visit to another of the world's most iconic places. Sweet dreams and safe travels until we meet again.